I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around.
Mm. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jamel Saladin. This is the Poker Face Society. I think you would be interested in the topic I'm talking about today. Because, yeah, people talk about the poisons that's in our food. Um, there's speculation, there's been videos actually confirming the connection between government, insurance companies, health. So I would say this is just another one of those shows, maybe from my own perspective, but even though I am a proud conspiracy theorist, none of this is conspiracy. This is the sad part, right? I'm not doing that today. I'm not doing conspiracy theory or like speaking from emotion. I'm not doing none of that. I just feel like we the people should have some idea how involved how non coincidental the relationships between poor health actually is. That's what my show's about today. I just wanted to do a show where we discuss it's not coincidental. Now, the clip I just played with your girl right here has nothing to do with nothing. This is Kamala Harris. I don't find it funny. I would say I find it funny, but I don't find it funny. Political politics, right? And you see political politics all the time. It's political politics. Bill Clinton had political politics, right? He pulls out all of a sudden. He pulls out the sacks. He has on shades. You know what I'm saying? He's seconds away from lighting up a spliff, all to get the black vote, right? Shout out to Big TTV in the building. Splash and the General is in the building. Splash, and how we sounding on the I didn't even check, man. Let me just check real quick. The levels. Desktop. See? I don't know why this is down. Let's turn this up. Give me a second, y'all. There's always something stupid. The levels got turned down. We're going to turn that back up. Everything else looks good. All right. So the audio I just played, that was Kamala Harris. I'm going to play it again. But she was trying to... I guess Marlon Wayne said he was on Charlemagne. I don't call him Charlemagne the God, but he did some nonsense. He was involved with some type of sexual deviance case, South Carolina. I think the woman's name is Jessica Reed. Look it up. Charlemagne from the Breakfast Club. This is why I don't support him. If I seem like I don't really rock with Charlemagne the God. He was never convicted. The thing is, he never showed remorse, in my opinion, right? So he kind of like trolled this girl. And she's like traumatized that she was sexually taken advantage of at some party when she was younger. She implicates Charlemagne the God as well as maybe some other people. And, okay, you say you didn't do it. And me personally, I would have just had some type of empathy for the woman, but not Charlemagne, right? That's why I don't want to see this guy anyway. I don't want to see him anyway because I don't know. It's kind of like at one point he was even mocking her. He's disgusting to me. That's disgusting. Nonetheless, I think Marlon Wayans was on The Breakfast Club and they were discussing Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris did okay to come from nowhere. I mean, I don't know where she came from. Wasn't she dating like Montel Jordan or something crazy like that? To make it from dating Montel Jordan as an escort, Frankie Blanco's in the building. To make it from an escort, an Indian escort, yo, anything is possible in America. She was, yo, don't even get down. I'm telling you, we all have these down days and things could just look real so gloomy. And I'm just here to tell you, because, you know, all my days are not sunshine. I'm going through stuff right now as we speak. The only thing that keeps me optimistic is to know that Kamala Harris was once an escort. That Montel Williams, not Jordan, Montel Jordan, forgive me if he likes my podcast, but his music sucked, bro. Yeah. Montel Jordan, I apologize if you're like, yo, I listen to Saladin. I like Saladin. I like that. I like that you like me. But your singing sucked, blood. Your singing sucked. Your songs were great. And you have hits. God bless the American dream, right? I may be down right now, people, but I swear to God, if an Indian escort from God knows where, we don't know where none of these people, it's always some type of mystery with these people. Yo, where's Obama from? Just to create more conspiracy theories, right? They saying this woman is Jamaican. I've never heard a single vowel pronounced with patois ever from this woman. Never. Not everything is Irie, man. Nothing. Not even the nasty fake Jamaican accent, right? Like everything Irie, man. I'm not even a Miss Cleo. Like, come on now. Nothing. It kind of pisses me off when people don't want to embrace their nationality, right? Like ever. Like I love when people dip in and out of their own nationality. I like when Foxy Brown does it. You know what I'm saying? When Busta Rhymes does it. I wish Shine did it more. Shine is from Belize. He didn't do it enough for me. Like, Belize's slogan is Belizean pride. I don't know why all these Belizeans get over here and then it's like they want to hide. Yo, big up on yourself, brethren. Where's your flag, Kamala? Who are you rapping, bud? You keep saying you Jamaican, you're Indian. Who are you rapping? New Delhi? Spanish Town? Let us know. The people want to know. But you don't. It's the PR people. They get in their ear. Yo, we not going in that direction. Right? They always marry some white Jewish guy. I get it. You want security. I get it. It's the American way, right? You got to do certain things if you want to go down that vein, right? That whole political vein. Listen, people, it's all lies. it's all lies. We'll go through it today, but I'm just letting you know ahead of time before we do the show. Trisha's here. She's not even in the bushes today. Wait, now let me look at the comments. Yeah. I'm not making stuff up. She's definitely here. She's not even in the bushes today. Yeah. And thank everybody who donated and donates, right? And I don't know who wants to be like, I haven't figured that part out yet, where if I'm going to be shouting people out and saying how much they're giving, because not everybody wants to, like, people to know what they gave, and you know what I'm saying. So I will say thank you, Trisha, thank you. And it's another gentleman. It's a few people. Thank you, Mr. Thornton, for, apparently he was impressed by my intelligence. So I did something to make him feel like I was not intelligent. I don't know what I did. He's like, no, you're intelligent. Really? Well, thank you, my good man. Jeffrey Wilson. Thank you, good sir. I'd like to thank Jeffrey Wilson. Yeah. Mr. Thornton thinks I'm intelligent. Yo, thought you was an idiot. What gave you that impression, good sir? Because I co-founded the 050 The Movement channel? We're no longer on that pseudo frequency. I've committed to the frequency I'm on, and that's that. Let's get to this. She's out here trying to rally up the black vote. She got... Where'd you get this? Those collard greens? Where'd you get this, Kamala? If I was in the back of the limo with Kamala Harris and I seen Fannie Willis walking down the street, holding up high heels in her hand, walking down the street barefooted, I'm telling you right now, I'm stopping. Yo, pull over there. Pull over. Either two things is going to happen. Either I'm getting out and walking with Fannie Willis, or you got to go, Kamala. Now, this is wherever we at. This is America. You know how to make it. I got faith in you, Kamala. I got faith in you. I can't leave Fannie out there like that. She is still trying to find her way at 50 something. As we listen. You're gonna be alright, Kamala, because you have no problem conforming, doing what these people say do. Kamala said people used to call her to make a mean pot of greens.
So what you got?
Hold on.
Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub.
So is that a Jamaican thing? I know it's not. This is a rhetorical question. I already know it's not. But I'm going to ask you anyway. Matter of fact, let me just get it out the way. Is making greens a Jamaican or Indian thing? Because I don't remember it being an American thing. So somebody has to answer for this, blood. We can't just have people out here false flagging. Huh? Does any nation want to take up the responsibility for eating greens at Christmas and having this Indian Jamaican lady? Yo, why you didn't go into what do you call it? Coloring, culinary. Yeah. Why you didn't go into that? Why did you end up as an escort for Montel Williams, showing up to all the events he was going at? I give it. First of all, though, I'm gonna give it to you. You made it from there to Vice President of the United States of America. Yo. Never mind my jokes, Kamala Harris. What's not a joke is hats off to you. Yikes. Hats off to you. But I will quickly take my hat back. Wasn't it you that was out here prosecuting people for marijuana and trying to get them the harshest sentence? Yeah, I take my hat off. I'll take my accolades back, actually. You've made some stops along the way. You didn't go straight to escort to vice president. You made some bumpy stops along the way. And now that I'm thinking about it, it was deplorable and disgusting. Yeah. I see you, Frankie. I see where you're going with it. I don't know if I'm interested. That's the thing. I see where you're going with it, Frankie. I just don't know. Fanny, yes. Her, I'm good. I'm just I'm good, bud. It's not a good fit. It's not. It's always some type of shenanigans with politicians, man. Clinton was out here pulling out Tabasco sauce at the black events. Huh? Obama was giving Negro dap. I seen the skit that Key and Peele did, and I thought it was just really just a skit when they was like, one of them was playing Obama and he was giving them the high. Everybody, every time he ran into a black person, he would give him a certain type of five, and then when he went to the white person, he give him like a standard handshake. And then I seen the actual clip, and I was like, "Yo, Obama, you really did that, bro? Yo, why'd you do that, bro? Why'd you give the soul brother handshake to all the black and colored people, and then you got to the white person and was like, gave him the standard joint, bro? They know how to do the soul brother. They know how to do it, bro." He felt like they was gonna mess it all up on camera and all that. He couldn't take the risk of looking like he needs to have his juice caught. He couldn't afford that. He said, no, let's just play it safe. You cannot mess up on a standard standard handshake. Yale, Harvard approved.
Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub.
Yeah, this chick is crazy. Kamala, you're not gonna win presidency, but it's funny. You're not gonna win, and RFK Jr. just dropped out. I don't know if he was gonna. I like RFK Jr. I love you, bro. Do not take what I'm saying the wrong way. But we cannot have a president that sounds like that. Like that is just, it's just crazy. You understand? We could give you any other position. We can give you a consultancy position. We could do a lot of. We could figure it out. we could definitely figure it out. And it doesn't matter how much I agree with you on so many topics, right? I agreed with Bernie Sanders before. Bernie be flip-flopping though, bro. Bernie, you understand? Like, Bernie conformed to, like, we can't do it, Splash. We can't do it, Splash. You understand? Like, I just can't have him up there sounding like he's on the brink of having a nervous breakdown and you ready to pat him on the back. Like, yo, you okay, bro? It's going to be all right. He's like, no, it's just the way I talk. Like, oh, I thought you was choking on tears. Like, he's always sounding like he's choking on tears. And I'm going to be honest with you. Because of what the American people just went through with Joe Biden, knowing he was too old, we hired him anyway. We elected him. He got in there and got straight to Al Thomas business on us and went straight to... He clocked out as soon as he got up in there, huh? And we can't do that again, knowing you have a worm eating your brain. In good like consciousness, cannot go in there and pull the ballot for you so that in 2 years you could be like, well, you knew a worm was eating my brain. And I'm like, you know what, blood? You're right. I did know a worm was eating your brain because you told everybody, and I still voted for you because I got love for you, Robbie. I got love for you, bro. But I cannot vote for you. He could have the iron lung, bro. It's like you don't know. You don't know, huh, Big TTV? You just nowadays, right? Trump, I don't trust Trump. I did at one point in time. And it's not because all of this other stuff they talk about he's racist, and I don't believe none of that. That's all left-wing propaganda. All of it. The Central Park 5 propaganda. All of it. Propaganda. Reason I don't trust Trump is I do not believe that we should have gave that much money to Israel. Maybe some aid. If y'all want to do the whole Zionist thing, realistically, I understand. All right, we're gonna give some money to Israel, right? I understand that politicians steal money. It's when it's just like overly done, and it's kind of like, whoa, why is it? Well, whatever happened with the Ukraine and Israel this last go round, with the United States giving up the money, it just seemed obsessive and abrupt at the same time, and it made it seem like, yo, wait, what y'all got planned? Because why are you in a rush to give them this money? They not even, who's Israel at war with right now? Well, Palestine, but Palestine don't have the resources like that for the money that we gave them. It's like using a sledgehammer to take apart a bird box. Like, that's not what you do. So therefore, you know what I see it as, money laundering back to our own politicians, our senators. This happens, right? Because there are people involved in all type of shell corporations, and it happens. And again, I understand it's going to happen on a small scale because I can't clean it up by me just sitting out here talking. And none of us can clean it up like that. But once it gets to apparent that, okay, you guys are not even trying to hide the fact you're stealing money now. Now it's like, all right, this is ridiculous. So Trump can't, in my opinion, can't be tried. It's not even the fact that you got in the office the first time and went straight to coal. I was pissed off. I would have voted for you again. I was pissed off that you started implementing coal and you weren't trying to look at some other options of energy. But it wasn't enough for me to say, I'm done with you. When I see you keep giving all these speeches about how Israel is not powerful enough and Israel needs more power, you are bugging, Trump. You're bugging. Yeah. Subsidized poison. That's what we're talking about tonight. Shout out to everybody on the replay. Damn, 25 minutes past that fast. Woo! Just like that, I lost 30 minutes clowning around with Kamala Harris. I can't even afford to lose 30 minutes on this topic. I gotta get straight to work and catch up. We talk about subsidized poison tonight, food and drugs. Many people have touched on this topic, so this is only my perspective. I'm hoping to bring, I don't know, some type of enlightenment. Maybe you see things from a different perspective. What I do know, and what Big TTV always tells me, is stay repetitive. So even if you heard this before, we have to keep talking about it so it gets to the masses. So what I'm going to ask you tonight is hit the like button for sure. I know you guys already know that, but also share. I'm doing no profanity, no music, because I want you guys to actually share the video, and I don't want anything to go wrong, right? If you play it on Facebook, I want it to be seen. What I'm saying. Also, I think I'm gonna make the live private when I'm done, and I'm gonna cut this bad boy up. All right, let's start right here. The Great Depression, right? Because I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight, but what I'm talking about, actually, we could follow this back throughout time, but I'm just going to start with 1929, which is almost 100 years ago, right? We're 5 years away from that. There was a Great Depression. Patterns. It's always patterns in this here United States. Just pay attention to the patterns. 1929 to 1941 was the Great Depression, right? A severe global economic turndown that affected many countries across the world, of course, because, foreign exchange. One currency affecting the other. And trade. Now, one of the things I've always asked myself is, why do we get our wheat from Ukraine? So, if you was wondering the same thing, like, we have farms here. Why do we rely on so much food from foreign nations? You'll probably get a good idea after watching this video. I'm not going to hold you. Some say it was caused by nervous investors pulling out their money, this Great Depression. But some say it was also caused by the overproduction of crops, which drove down the price on commodities. All right. Now, if you're watching these zeitgeists and all of that, they're going to definitely tell you that J.P. Morgan triggered the, what was it? Was it a Black Tuesday or a Black? It wasn't a Black Friday, right? But he kind of like triggered some nervousness with it and skepticism amongst the investors, right? He triggered a panic by, from what I hear, spreading propaganda that some banks were weak. I think the bank was the Knickerbockers Bank. And then the people went to go and get all their money out, and obviously the bank, this is the Poker Face Society. We've spoken about Babylonian money magic before, right? So a lot of the veterans from the Poker Face Society, they understand how money magic works. right? And how it even started, right? But basically, you're loaning out money that's not really there. It's crazy. This is, I think it's called fractional banking. I think that's what they call it, the technical term. Fractional banking. So you're loaning out. I'm laughing because it's just crazy, right? You don't even have the money. It's not even there, right? You don't even require it to be there. It's just like, nah, we only need like 35% of the money there. But they didn't even have like 35% of the money they was lending out there in the banks. Nonetheless, this caused people to try to get their money from the bank, and it wasn't there, obviously. And then people started panicking. Because I guess the American people, well, everybody, I've seen this in other countries. People be thinking their money is in the bank. Nah. It's not. That's what the Zeitgeist films usually show. And then I'm not saying they're wrong, right? What I'm saying is simultaneously something else was happening. There was an overproduction of crops. And when you have an overproduction, right? If everyone is a farmer, because they feel like this is a good way to make money, and the land is there and the land is good, and then everyone kind of gets into it. It's about supply and demand at that point, right? So because the supply was needed before, but we didn't have enough farmers, then everyone becomes a farmer. Just like when the COVID hit, and then everyone had time to like really sit down and figure out some things and learn some things. I'm not gonna hold you. People got to learning fast, right? A lot of people started becoming truck drivers. A lot of people were selling T-shirts, started T-shirt companies. So I know in the trucking industry for a while, it's kind of like they went down on the contracts, the money they was offering for a lot of contracts. It wasn't like it used to be back in the days, because hey, we could get anybody. We could get some new dude who's straight from the Bahamas and just got up here in the States. He just got his CD out and his trucking authority, and he's willing to run it. I was seeing a lot of crazy stuff, right? I've seen Africans gut out straight trucks, and they're straight. And not only Africans, I just seen a team of white boys did the same thing. They gutted out a truck, and they were back there. They built their own like beds in the truck, and they was just back there roughing it, right? They didn't care about going home, none of that. They just out on the road. Now, how can you, as a conservative and a traditional truck driver, compete with these type of new age Neanderthals? You know, and I say Neanderthals being funny, but really, like, this is abrupt. You understand? You had a whole system that you was used to, and all of a sudden they opened up the floodgates and let anybody get a trucking authority, and they want to push it balls to the wall as soon as they get in. These people are not going home, right? They figuring out ways to turn a regular day cab into a sleeper, and they was doing it. Price is going to go down. Same thing here. A lot of people became farmers in America. there was, my research tells me there was an overproduction on crops. But guess what? Price went down. This affects the trade, right? I don't even think back then they had that many options to trade. Not like today, right? When you trade today, it's like Vegas. If you ever did any day trading, like there's so many different ways. It's like a casino. If you wanted to day trade or something like that. You know, I've done day trading with Ninja Trader. And there's so many ways, right? You can do Forex exchange, you could do stocks and bonds, you could do options, you could do futures, there's just a lot to do. But I can't say for sure that we had that many options back then, right? I know that for sure probably goods and commodities would definitely trade, especially commodities, right? Pork, rice. But if farmers had an abundance of products, and then you get a guy like JP Morgan and he's like, he can see what's going on, and then he shouts with the bullhorn, yo, it's not looking good. We got an overproduction of stuff. And I'm not saying that this is what happened. I'm just saying this could have triggered it, because we did have overproduction, and we do know that JP Morgan was involved in the triggering of the panic attack. We know that. But was that another panic attack? No, I think it was the Great Depression. All right. I don't know if all my slides are in place, but they should be, because I took a while to make these. I think that's the one I'm talking about, Trisha. I might be getting them mixed up. There was 2 panic attacks. I think there was an earlier one, I know for sure, earlier than the Great Depression. So you might be right there. Trisha says Panic of 1907. And I'm inclined to say she's correct on that. I want to give a good breakdown real quick. Give me a second on, let's see here. Nope. All right. Let's just, because we're going to talk about the FDA. So let's just kind of break down the FDA by department. Because I never thought of the FDA like this. When I think of the FDA, I don't know what I think. It's just like the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. And I never take the time to break down all that the FDA is in charge of, and if things are broken down. So since we got the time, let's do that, right? There's like 6 different main departments with the FDA. One of them is responsible for regulating prescription drugs and biological products. Another one oversees the safety of foods, including food additives, dietary supplements, and infant formula. This is interesting already. The fact that you got all these different departments within one department. And I'm going to tell you why it's interesting to me right after I finish rattling these things off. And the next one regulates biological products such as vaccines, blood products, and gene therapies. Right? These are different departments within the FDA. The next department regulates medical devices, including pacemakers, hearing aids, and x-ray machines. The next one regulates veterinary drugs, vaccines, and feeds. And the last one regulates tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, smokeless tobacco. Now, I said a second ago it's interesting, but my real question is, what if we know the FDA could be compromised? How do we know this? Well, there's a documentary on Netflix right now that involves Oxycontin and the Purdue company, right? So watch it, then you can tell me if the FDA can be compromised or has ever been compromised. Obviously. But you kind of realize if you did some thorough research, like thorough. In the video I did today, I'm not going to call this thorough research. Even though I'm going to unfold a lot, you probably at the end of this video like, yo, damn, son, you went in. Nah, bro. That's just a few hours. If I had like days or weeks, and if I had a team, this is me by myself, what I'm about to show you. That's just me. Right? But I went to college, so I know what thorough research looks like. I know what it looks like when the professor wants a 20-page document with several resources. It can't come from one resource. Nah. 20 pages. Yeah. What I did for you today is a couple hours of work by myself. If I had a team, and I'm kind of shocked of what I discovered today. So it's kind of like, damn, what if I had a whole team? This is bananas. What would we be able to find out then? So just to give you some context, I just wanted to just break down that whole FDA situation before we get into this, because it's not a question if the FDA could be compromised. It's already been compromised affirmatively. We've already seen this. Let's go back a little bit. The government paid farmers to cut back on production. When was this, Solid D? When did this happen? What? Agriculture Adjustment Act of 1933. Part of President Franklin D. Roosevelt's The New Deal. We just spoke about the New Deal, didn't we? I'm bringing this up because this triggered something, right? The U.S. government introduced this policy to stabilize agriculture markets and raise crop prices, which had plummeted due to the overproduction and failing demand during the economic turndown. I just told you. They was overproducing crops. It brought the price down. It wasn't good for anybody. So the United States had to, like they always do, yo, we got to figure this out. We got to step in and try to help out the best way we know how. Well, we're going to subsidize. Well, we'll get there. But yeah, we're going to subsidize, and we're going to pay farmers not to farm. You're like, not to farm? Yes. We're going to ask, how much land you got, right? You got 100 acres? All right. We'll pay you for 20, if you wouldn't farm on 25% of your land, how much would that cost? Right? We're going to pay you to only utilize 75% of your land. And the whole thought process behind this is the less crops, remember, supply and demand. Now, the price of something could start to rise again and go and return to what a potato should cost. Because everyone's not running. We see this right now with the weed, right? I mean, I seen it coming down the pipeline. At one point in time, you could really charge somebody $4,000 a pound of weed. And people are still trying to get away with that. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of, I just had this conversation last week with somebody. Right? I guess if the name is right. Certain names, you might be able to still get that. Certain names. But come on, bro. When I say certain names, the people that smoke weed know the names. I don't smoke weed. But they know what they would pay top dollar for. But a lot of that, those names, that was, Girl Scout cookie. That was once a $3,000 pound of weed. You get Girl Scout cookie for $300 right now. Platinum. That was once like $28, $25. Get platinum. $400 for platinum right now. Right? Why? Well, before the government even got involved, the industry just exploded. Then the government got involved, and now it's just shenanigans. It's just shenanigans out there right now. Nonetheless, you guys understand supply, demand. Overproduction and low prices. During the 1920s and the 1930s, U.S. farmers were producing more crops than the market could consume, leading to a surplus. This surplus drove crop prices, making it difficult for farmers to cover their costs or make a living. Economic stability. By paying farmers to reduce the amount of land they planted or to destroy some of their crops, the government aimed to reduce the surplus, decrease the supply, and thereby raise the prices of agricultural products. Understood. Crop-specific focus. The AAA targeted several key crops that were overly produced, including bang, wheat, bang, cotton, bang, corn, bang, tobacco, bang, rice. Big TV is crazy. The goal was to reduce the supply of these specific crops to help stabilize their price. Now, do you understand why I did that pause right there? Besides reading Big TV's comment on contemplating getting back in the game, I wanted you to think. It's definitely always location. That's what it is, Splash. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, bro. And no one's 20-something years old where they about to take a few pounds on the road to the middle of America. Like, no one's doing that, bro. No, someone's doing it. It's just not us at this age. Someone's definitely doing that because that's what we do as young men in America. We take it on the road. But we older now, blood. What? No one's... Nah, you're not going to find me. Iowa. No. These towns still they still waiting for you to lock you up as soon as you enter their town on that BS. Yeah, they ain't never changed. If you thought they changed, then no. They still got the local jail there that the local community people work at, and they can't wait to throw your punk ass in jail. Yes. Well, you need to introduce me to those there people, Big TV. I'm listening. You introduce me to them. I'm waiting. But listen, let's get back to this. I want y'all to focus on the wheat, right? Because we was buying wheat from Ukraine, right? That's why I said this video gonna make a lot of sense by the end of the video. Because I be looking at where we buy our food from, and the main question is, why are we buying food from these other countries? This America's a big place. We could grow our own stuff here. And I know you guys are asking the same thing. Like, yo, what is going on? Why are we using these other countries? We don't need to buy wheat from Ukraine as if America has no soil to grow wheat. What are you talking about? Like, we could grow wheat, bro. Why are we spending so much effort, so much time buying and shipping wheat from Ukraine or from China or from anywhere? It don't make sense. But again, I just want y'all to look at those crops. Wheat, cotton, corn, tobacco, and rice was overproduced. The government says slow it down. I just want to get the chance to know you. Slow down. I just want to get the chance to know you. Yeah. Slow down. You're producing too much. Let's figure something out, right? Because these prices is getting crazy and nobody can't make a dime off of this. It's dangerous. And I remember, is the next slide? Well, before I say what I remember, let me read the next slide. Because I made these slides so that we have knowledge, right? I don't mind joking and stuff, but a lot of people, I like for people to walk away with knowledge, right? All right, acreage allotments. The government set limits on how many acres of certain crops a farmer could plant. These allotments were part of the efforts to prevent overproduction. I mentioned that before. What I didn't mention is the marketing quotas. These were limits on the amount of particular crops that could be sold in the market. For example, farmers might be allowed to sell a certain percentage of their crop, with the rest being held off the market or used for non-commercial purposes. All right. Production caps. Direct limits on the volume of production for certain commodities was another method of controlling supply. All right. Now, what was I about to say? What I was about to say is I remember growing up, and my daughter probably will never, she will read this book because I'm going to make her read this book, right? But when I grew up and I was in school, we had to read The Grapes of Wrath. And I know students are not reading. No one's making these. Besides, that's a form of actually educating children on the actual history of what happened in the United States. But that's a risk of waking these children up like they did with the Generation Z. And they found out Zionism was actually nasty work. And they got out there and started protesting, right? Now, what if these kids get a whiff of the Grapes of Wrath and figure out, wait a minute, and they start connecting the dots of when America started subsidizing right then and there farmers not to grow crops. Because this is the start of a lot. Well, the path we about to go down, you're going to see that might not have been a good choice. It might not have been a good choice for a couple. Like, I understand their logic in saying, yo, I don't know if I understand. But what's the best way not to get a farmer to produce something, right? You can't outlaw it, right? You don't want to outlaw it, but you want to control it at the same time. So I kind of get it. You're like, yo, I will pay you to like control your volume of growth when you farm. Grapes of Wrath was a sad book, but we watched the black and white film anyway in class. So the AAA I was telling you about, the AAA Act was allegedly intended to help farmers by reducing production and raising prices, but its impact was complex. While it did help some farmers by increasing the prices, it also led to the destruction of crops and livestock. which was controversial and had mixed effects on the agricultural community. The Grapes of Wrath is literally a representation of the economic and social issue faced by American farmers during the Great Depression. It provides a powerful narrative that aligns with the historical context of agricultural policies, environmental crisis, and the economic challenges that were prevalent during that era. I want you to remember, or you won't forget, that AAA Act, the Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1933, it opened up a can of worms. Anyway, meanwhile, while this is going on, while you have poor white folks trying to figure it out in middle America, they don't know if they're going to stay and try to figure out this whole farming crop thing or head for California, where they hear is bigger and better opportunity. But while all this is going on, there's some other people that's not even really affected by this at all. And their mind is working on taking advantage of this whole situation in a totally different way. And I mention these people all the time. One of the people that I mentioned, his name is Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie. Frankie Blanco says, didn't they make it illegal to collect rainwater or grow your own veggies? I heard that, but I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you, Frankie. I heard it was illegal to collect rainwater like 15 years ago in Oregon, which is kind of crazy because this is the same state that made heroin and crack legal. Oregon has its own thing going on. So while the nation is trying to figure out its financial issues, which are directly correlated with the agriculture issues, this could be an opportunity, because I'm going to think like them for a moment, for people with unlimited resources. And at the time, the people with unlimited resources was Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller. Those were your main guys. Obviously, you had other people in the world that had money. The Wahlburgers, Rothschilds, da-da-da-da-da. That's crazy. Carnegie Institution for Science, also known as the Carnegie Science, also known as Carnegie Institution of Washington, is an organization in the United States established to fund and perform scientific research, and this is hilarious. It's hilarious, but it's not hilarious. You understand what I'm saying? When I say it's hilarious, I mean it's not hilarious. It's just like unbelievable that the old Andrew Carnegie is the exact carbon copy of the new Bill Gates. These guys are no different. They were barking up trees in areas that you're like, yo, why are you doing, aren't you a steel magnet? Aren't you an oil baron? But what I'm telling you is when you've made all the money, because you can only have a certain amount of money before you feel like, what can't you buy after a certain amount of time? You bought islands. Right? There's no yacht that you technically can't buy. Do you really want a jet? One of those things that you land jets on? I mean, you'll buy one, but do you want? You can buy one. Do you want one? Like, what is it? You can get a good amount of women. I can't say you can get any woman. I won't. That's cap. Getting any woman just because you're an old white billionaire is cap. But getting a lot, many women, you will get many. Aircraft carrier. Thank you, Frankie Blanco. Venezuela Reyes is in the building. When I need Venezuela around, yo, Vinny, how about you do this, bro? How about you drop me your new number on my Instagram? I'm gonna put my Instagram up here, man. Cause when I need you around, you're not around. Then alright. That's my Instagram, Venezuela. Send me a number, bro. Cause then we could just schedule when I'm gonna go on StreamYard. Sometimes I don't like going on StreamYard. Even though I probably did this in StreamYard, right? Had you pull up, talk to Dr. Inky. But I really don't like StreamYard. Nonetheless, let's get back to this. What we're seeing now, right? Look at Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos he made his money from delivering packages, wasn't it? Like, isn't that what Amazon did or something like that? Like, you could buy things from this person and it was something with logistics. I forgot that's how convoluted Amazon has become. We don't even know how they started, and we was alive. Like, it just happened. Like, we was all there when Amazon started, and because this guy is so ambitious, hats off to Jeff Bezos, we forgot what his original product and service was. I don't even know. Because I've spent more time utilizing all type of Prime, right? Prime Video. Like, Jeff Bezos is out of this world right now, bro. Yeah, it started with books, bro. And I use AWS, Amazon Web Services. Like, this guy's out there. Why? Because he doesn't, like, it's not about making money at this point. It's just about, I think they be bored, is what I really think. But it's about power, too. And taking over a whole industry and controlling that sector, monopolizing, doing the exact thing that they say you can't do. That's what I'm about to do. I'm about to be the first in this industry, and I'm gonna monopolize it and control it. Now, look at all the things that this guy was into. He was into, and when I say into, let's bring it back. I used to work with this white guy, and if you did not say things accurately, he always made fun of me. I can't say he made fun of you. He made fun of me, and he would like do a little parody on me and repeat what I said. I guess so I could hear what I was saying. I hated that. And if he was doing it to inspire me to speak better, I hate the fact that it worked. Right? That's my ego. Like, don't try to play me into being more intelligent, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't. But he did, and damn it. I'm just upset that it worked. Because he would mock me so bad that I would actually hear myself on what I was saying and correct myself. And I hate the fact that he was right. I do. Hate the fact that he was right. Shout out to Alexander Crocker in the building. Now, this is what I want y'all to look at. Andrew Carnegie started to use his money to enter into different areas of research. And let's just look at the areas. One was astronomy. It's kind of bugged out, especially to look at the time, right? We're talking about early 1900s, and he's using his money to research astronomy. I found that interesting. All right. Next was ecology. I don't find that interesting. That's pretty basic and normal. Next was eugenics. That he went through a phase of eugenics because eugenics had a bad name, right? Because Hitler gave eugenics a bad name. Let's keep it 1,000. But was eugenics that bad of an idea? No. But Hitler gave eugenics a bad name. Genetics. These are all the areas of science that he's starting to get into. Embryology. This is wild. Astronomy, ecology, eugenics, genetics, embryology, and the last one is hypocritical. That's the word I'm looking for. The last one is hypocritical. Why is it hypocritical? Plant science? Bro, you and John D. Rockefeller was the one that basically demonized all medicine coming directly from the plants and nature, directly from nature, so that you guys could create an industry of synthesized solutions made from petroleum so that you can make money. And here's the thing. I do believe in capitalism, and I don't really care that they had a good idea and I don't really care that they had a good idea and created these solutions from goods that they had, right? Access to that they made from petroleum. I don't care. This is America. That's part of capitalism, getting money. What I hate is the fact that you guys demonize natural remedies just to do that. You didn't have to do that. But you did that. To this day, you can't look up anything online and ask the Google or any search engine for the natural remedies for things without them saying that it's going to cause cancer, without them telling you you should never take natural remedies without consulting your doctor or science. None of this makes sense. Right? It doesn't make sense that you can't consult that you would not take something from nature. And I'm going to consult the scientists first. Like that. None of it makes sense. This guy. Vannevar Bush. If you guys are kind of thinking like, yo, is he related to George Bush of any kind? Right now, they say no. I don't believe that, but listen, this is America, and people can have the same last name. This is America, and people can have the same last name. Sidebar: everyone, if you will, please hit the like button. If you want, hit the subscribe button. But what's more importantly is I do appreciate everyone that did contribute or donate to the Cash App, and we're asking that those who do appreciate this video, my Cash App is right there at the bottom of the screen. If you would, it doesn't have to be the same people over and over again, right? So I already, send my appreciations to everyone that was able to donate when you could, right? But I'm also asking the new watchers and people who've never donated, because we want to be able to advertise and push these videos out so that more people see them, and that takes a budget. So if you could contribute whatever it is, $10, $20, so that I can get these videos promoted properly, so that we can grow the views and subscriptions properly within the policy for this platform. All right. That being said, let's get back to this. Vannevar Bush. I didn't have to put him in this slide. I did for a specific reason. So let me read what's going on here with Vannevar Bush. Vannevar Bush was a pioneering American engineer and inventor whose greatest accomplishments includes his leadership during World War II as the head of the U.S. Office of Scientific Research and Development, where he oversaw critical projects like the Manhattan Project, which developed the atomic bomb. He also played a key role in the founding of Raytheon. Now, we hear a lot about Raytheon, and he was one of the founders of Raytheon, a major American defense contractor where he contributed to the development of the first practical analog computer. Now, this is the part that's very interesting to me right here, because they always tell you that whenever they introduce something to you, they've been working on it for decades, right? So I don't know. I think it was the 1990s when the internet was actually introduced to the people and given to the people. But in all actuality, check this out. He contributed to the development of the first practical analog computer and helped advance microwave radar technology. Bush is credited with pioneering the concept of the MEMEX, an early idea of a personal information management system that foreshadowed the development of the internet and hypertext. They've been working on these ideas for a long time, beloved. His work also laid the foundation for the development of the printed circuit board, which revolutionized electronics by enabling more compact and reliable electronic devices. Additionally, his report, Science, The Endless Frontier, laid the groundwork for post-war government support of scientific research, leading to the creation of the National Science Foundation, the NSF. All right. Again, why did I mention Vannevar? Well, he was the president of the Carnegie Institute of Science. I'm just letting that sink in, right? He was so he was handpicked by Carnegie. Let's see some other people that was handpicked by Carnegie. George Harrison Scholl. George Harrison Scholl was an American plant geneticist. Scholl played an important role in the development of hybrid maize, popular corn, which had a great impact upon global agriculture. Right? So he was one of the first to, hold on one second. I want to look at you. When you look up online, like when they really started experimenting with genes and editing genes, and it can be misleading. You have to be very specific when you're doing your research, because from what I know, if you're not specific, it may look like gene research is like brand new, right? But it's not. Like, people have been practicing creating hybrids for without going into conspiracy theories, I'm just going to say thousands of years. If I was going into my conspiracy bag, I would say 100,000 of years. But I'm not. I'm going to stay away from conspiracy theories tonight on this video. 100,000, but thousands of years, yeah. People have been crossbreeding plants for a long time, and probably animals. Crossbreeding. But remember when I made the rubric and I said some of the things that some of the weapons that's formed against us, there's a rubric that you can look at and you can kind of see, engage, and see how they might play with the people's mind down here on Earth. And there's a couple of categories that they're going to do it in. Word manipulation is going to be one of those, right? So they may have 5 different phrases for one that mean the same thing. And the technical definition may vary slightly, very slightly. In my opinion, not enough to make a whole different quote or word or definition, but very, so you got gene silencing, but then gene regulation is something different. Then you have gene interference with something different. But all of these kind of like do the same thing, is in the same realm. But if you speak to somebody that's technical, they're going to like these technical people. Well, technically, that's not. He's going to be correct. Don't even argue with him. Just let him do his nerd thing and whatever, bro. Whatever. I'm letting you know a lot of these phrases, they all have very similar association with each other. So when we discussed selective breeding earlier, it is kind of associated with experiment with genetics in its own way. George Harrison Scholl worked for Carnegie as well. He mainly did his genetic experiments, though, with food, mainly corn, to be totally honest with you. Mainly corn. Here's another one. Edward Murray East was an American plant geneticist, botanist, agronomist, and eugenicist. He is known for his experiments that led to the development of hybrid corn and his support of forced elimination of the unfit based on eugenic findings. This eugenics thing was a big thing. I don't know why they demonized Hitler for eugenics, as if he was the only one that believed in this philosophy. He wasn't. Here's another one. Donald F. Jones, was United States maize geneticist and practical corn breeder at the Connecticut Agriculture Experiment Station, New Haven. Beginning at the station in 1914, he made high-yielding hybrid corn practical by his invention of the double-cross hybrid. Now, all this is about to make sense, right? Where we at? 121. So I'm back on track time-wise, and I think I should be done within my traditional 2-hour podcast. Because I'm hitting the points that I want you to remember. And what are those? Well, these billionaires paid for unlimited research in specific areas. One of those areas was genetics, and corn seemed to be a big, popular area of interest. Master geneticists. I don't have to mention this guy, but why not, right? Sir Francis Galton, a famous geographer and statistician. I don't know how to say that word. I know what it means, but now I'm going to be thrown off because I can't say it. Statistician? He also invented eugenics in 1883. Eugenics, defined as the science of improving racial stock, was developed from a new heredity theory. 1883, he comes up with this, right? Galton put particular emphasis on positive eugenics, aimed at encouraging the physically and mentally superior members of the population to choose partners with similar traits. So this is what I was telling you guys before about the art of mating. You kind of still want to do this. I mean, just because a lot of these people were white supremacists does not mean they were wrong in a lot of what they were saying and everything they were saying. I don't do that, right? I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And when I had Dr. Inky up here, he was ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater with a lot of people, right? Including Dr. York and Polite. I'm not going to do that. And act like Dr. York did not bring things to the table of relevance and just overall value. He did. And I'm not going to do it here either. I may not agree with, obviously, these people being white supremacists, but you can't be so blinded that you're just going to say, oh, everything they're saying was nonsense. Nah, everything they're saying was not nonsense. His widely publicized lecture served as the starting point for the development of eugenics groups in Europe and the United States during the first half of the 20th century. Anybody know who this guy is? Anybody? I know you don't. I'm just... I'm not really waiting for an answer. His name is Henry Wallace. He was a former vice president of the United States, right? You wasn't expecting that. I know you wasn't. Because even after I told you who he was, it wasn't like, oh yeah, Henry A. Wallace. Yeah, I know. No, you've never heard of this guy. Never. If I didn't tell you he was, I could have said, yo, this is Henry A. Wallace, and you would have been like, who's that? Was he a salesman? Is he one of those guys that write self-help books, like self-development? No. He was the former vice president of the United States, bro. Anybody know who this guy is? Right? If I did not tell you who these guys were, you were definitely going to say, yeah, those were the top salesmen. And they sold Tupperware. And the other guy sold vacuums. Wrong. That's his father. That's Henry C. Wallace. And he was former Secretary of Agriculture. Now, why am I bringing these things up? Well, she said his cousin close. That's his pops, Trish. The guy I was thinking about in my last video when I said he went to work for, he was in politics. I think he was secretary of something under the Bush administration. But then he left and he went to Searle Pharmaceuticals. Yeah, I was thinking about Donald Rumsfeld. That's what I was thinking about. Donald Rumsfeld went over to Searle Pharmaceuticals. He was trying to get something passed at Searle Pharmaceutical, and the FDA would not pass it. So what he did? He came back to politics, threw his weight around. GTN basketball, what's good with you? Salute. He came back to politics, threw his weight around, and got what he wanted. Right? They gave him some fancy schmancy ambassador role when he came back to politics. Just enough for him to throw his weight around. I don't know verbatim what he did when he went over there to the FDA. Maybe he threatened some people. He's a big shot. You understand? I know whatever he wanted Searle to get, whatever product he wanted to get approved, it got approved. So this is the American way. Networking, getting in those circles. We can act like things are frowned upon. It's only frowned upon if you don't get caught. If you don't get caught, it's not frowned upon. If you get caught, oh, you should have never did this. You should have never did that. But these people be involved. And again, if we look at history, we can see the direct conflict of interest a lot of times. Now, Fauci, clear conflict of interest with any type of residuals being anything that you can patent and you're going to get a residual on, you should not be recommending to the people. It shouldn't even be a possible way for it to even happen. Yeah, Big TTV. But that's not what happened with Dr. Fauci and his people and his staff. From what I'm hearing, these people, like several people, are eligible to receive at minimum $150,000 a year off some of these patents that they're over there. It's definitely a conflict of interest. But again, it's not new because people have been doing this for a long time in politics. And I dare say this is why people get into politics, so that they can get their chance at taking advantage of the system, changing their lives and their family's life, right? So, how would these two guys change their life? Which ultimately changed everyone's life in America. And that's the part I hate, right? It's always, you don't figure that one person, two people could just change your whole entire life. But yet, look at Dr. Fauci. Millions were killed off of his decisions. Allegedly. Millions died. Let me put it like that. I don't want YouTube to take down my video. Millions died off of the decisions that he made allegedly. These two guys, what precedent did they set that would spark? Well, hold on one second. He started a company, a genetically modified seed company founded in 1926. Was you guys expecting that? You probably wasn't. You probably wasn't. You probably didn't have no idea. You didn't know what I was going to say. You definitely did not expect me to be like, yeah, son started a whole genetically modified seed company in 1926. Yeah. We'll get back to him in a second. One thing leads to another. The Farm Bill and the federal subsidies. Well, before I get to that. All right. Let's look at the Pioneer, the company that he founded. I want to look at the history, right? So in 1926, Farm Journal editor and future U.S. Vice President Henry A. Wallace, he started that company. I told you guys that. All right, let's just look at some. I'm just going to run off real quick. 1924, Henry Wallace begins selling copper, cross, and early commercial hybrid seed corn. Okay, that was 1924. So they've been playing around with creating hybrid and genetically modified foods. Been playing around. 1926, hybrid corn company is founded. Okay. 1931, Roswell agrees to produce and distribute the seed. The following year, Garst partners with Charles Thomas in the form of the Garst and Thomas Seed Company. Okay. 1935, Pioneer was added to the name of the company to distinguish it from other hybrid corn companies. The full name is Pioneer Hybrid Corn Company. Okay. 1936, Pioneer founds Highline Poultry Farms to produce hybrid egg-laying chickens. 1949, Pioneer reaches annual sales of 1 million units. Okay. 1964, a research station is established in Jamaica. a research station is established. Why Jamaica? You can, that's crazy. You can establish this research company anywhere you want. Why would you put it in Jamaica? I don't know. In 1970, the company named its changed to Pioneer Hybrid International. 1973 becomes a publicly traded company. 1973, Pioneer obtains a soybean product that line through the purchase of Peterson Seed Company. 1975, purchases Landcart and Lockett Companies, cotton seed businesses. 1977, Pioneer acquires microbial products division to develop bacterial strains for inoculation into silage. Okay. 1978, Highline International is spun off. Okay. 1981, Pioneer becomes a market share leader in North America corn sales. 1982, annual sales pass the U.S. 10 million mark. 1983, the name of the soybean product line was changed from Peterson to Pioneer. 1991, Pioneer purchases 2 million shares and establishes a partnership with Mycogen Seeds to develop Bt insect resistant in corn, sorghum, soybean, canola, sunflower, and other seeds. Pioneer sold the shares in 1998. Pioneer becomes the number one brand of soybeans in America, in North America. 1992, Pioneer paid $450,000 to Monsanto for the rights to genetically modified soybean seeds that are resistant to Roundup herbicide. 1993, Pioneer paid $38 million to Monsanto for rights to Bt corn that is resistant to European corn borers. In 1997, DuPont acquires 20% stake in Pioneer, and the companies form a joint venture called Optimum Quality Grains. Mergers and acquisitions. 1999, DuPont purchases the remaining 80% of Pioneer for $7.7 billion. So it don't look like we can really trust DuPont at this time either, right? And the rest is history. You understand? DuPont agrees to pay Monsanto at least $1.75 billion in a new licensing deal. So they all in bed with each other. They're all in bed with each other. This whole DuPont, Pioneer. Now, I just explained to you what Donald Rumsfeld did. I just explained to you. You can go look it up yourself. The story gets even worse. So please do go look it up. It's not a happy ending story. All type of autism is involved. It got crazy. What I'm telling you is, I started this podcast show today talking about a politician, right? Kamala Harris. Even though I was making fun and making light of the situation, it's always the same thing with these politicians. They're going to dress up like a blue collar person, and they're going to grab a beer with the average working American and let you see that, hey man, I was just like you, man. I know what it means. My father came over here with 2 wet socks and a stale potato, man. He made his way, found his way. You know, because that's the American dream. And I'm not going to lie. If an Indian Jamaican girl can turn from escort to vice president of the United States, I mean, this is America. Anything can happen, Jack. But for us to be still believing that a politician is going to keep their word, it's kind of unrealistic. Because there's a lot of players that don't want to see things change. So they're putting a lot of people at risk. And it's not that easy just to change things for the better. Now let's get to this. Farm bills. Now let's get to this. One thing leads to another is whatever I name that slide, these slides, right? I want to talk about the farm bills and the federal subsidies. Let's see if we can make some connections out of these things. Let's talk about the earlier farm bills and the earlier subsidies first, right? 1930s and 1940s. I kind of started the show with that so you guys understand why those subsidies happen. Various versions of the Farm Bill throughout the mid-20th century established price supports and subsidies for stable crops, including corn. This encouraged farm growers. This encouraged farmers to grow more corn as they were guaranteed a certain price for their crop. We went over that and we understand that, right? 1950 to 1960s expansion now. Now we're not really in the Great Depression anymore. We're coming out of it. So what do we do with the policies that we set up? Where are we going with this? Well, usually, these policies are not shut down. They're usually expanded into the point where people are taking advantage of them to line their own pockets. I'm just saying what usually happens, right? Anyway, let's see what happened. As demand for livestock feed and processed food ingredients grew, federal policies increasingly supported the production of corn. Okay, so now they went from, as we can see, they went from telling everybody don't grow nothing to, wait a minute, we actually need more corn. What caused this? Well, like I said, it was simultaneously while this was going on, these boys here were jacking off for this man here. Because just like John D. Rockefeller had think tanks and research schools all over the place, it is no different with Carnegie. He's opening up his own institutions of learning, right? You don't even have to. You're not gonna get a degree. We just want you to come over here and learn and study and tell me what you find out. So, we had these. He looks like Colonel Sanders. I'm not gonna lie. I know everyone's thinking that, right? And that's messed up that he looks that similar to Colonel Sanders. Because you can't take him serious at this point. And you want to take him serious, but you're just thinking about the Colonel Sanders' original recipe. when you look at this guy. Let me just turn from him. He looks like a pervert. No, all hands down. He looks like the guy that doesn't speak good English at all. Right? And just when you're about to have a heart for him, you find out he does some crazy stuff in his off time. Maybe he's not. But I wouldn't put it past him. He was into this eugenics thing very heavy. Right? This guy was so far out, they don't even have a picture of him. It's just a sketch. So all of these guys are sketchy at the end of the day, in my opinion. But all of these guys, they were considered geniuses in their own right. They loved what they did. They had the information. And they were heavily connected to, like, this guy went to Harvard. This guy went to Harvard. And this guy was handpicked to be in the Carnegie Institute of Science. So I could sit here and make jokes about how they look like Colonel Sanders and all of that, but they were not small fries. So maybe the demand is about to rise. Why? It went from don't grow any corn to wait, we need more corn. You need more corn? Yeah, we need more corn. We done figured some things out. Oh, really? What'd you figure out? What'd you figure out? About to tell you. 1970, Agriculture Act of 1970, 1973 Farm Bill. This act continued price support but began phase out supply controls, allowing farmers to produce more. Okay, that's that extension I was telling you about. That's that expansion. So remember when I first started this podcast and we went over the specifics of the agricultural bill that was basically telling farmers, hey, we don't want you to grow anything. Right? Don't grow anything. And they had their criteria on how they would like basically subsidize the farmer. It could be market wise, it could be acreage, but they were gonna work with you for y'all to figure out how you were not gonna grow crops. And then somewhere along the lines, they want you to grow crops. Specific crops, though. Specific. What happened? Right? You don't care about... Is it that you don't care? What if we run into that same situation that we ran into before where we run into overproduction? Nah, we're not going to run into that problem this time. How you know? Because we about to use the corn for something else. What? Agricultural Consumer Protection Act of 1973. This bill introduced a direct payments to farmers, encouraging them to maximize production. It marked a significant shift towards promoting the production of commodity crops like corn on a large scale. The introduction of target prices and deficiency payments effectively incentivized farmers to grow more corn without worrying about market fluctuation. Why would they need more corn, beloved? They want more corn, and they said, don't worry about the market. Don't worry about none of that. I just need you to get up here and crank that corn out. What? The rise of corn-based products. Ethanol started in the 1970s and accelerated in 2000. Government policies included renewable fuel standards, further incentivized corn production for ethanol. Okay. High fructose corn syrup, 1970s. The development and commercialization of high fructose corn syrup in the 1970s, coupled with tariffs on imported sugar, increased demand of corn as a raw material for this sweetener, leading to more corn production. Them scientists figured out different ways to utilize the corn. Don't worry, I'm not going too far off into things. I just want to introduce you. The other day I mentioned a user fee act, but the proper name was the Prescription Drug User Fee Act, PDUFA of 1992. And who sold this out there? That would be the Bush family. Prescription Drug User Fee Act of 1992 amends the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act to provide authority for the Secretary of Health and Human Services to assess and collect fees from manufacturers of prescription drugs beginning in 1993. Commonly subsidized seed oils include soybean, corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, canola oil. If you read the labels, and yes, splashing, it is laundering. If you read the labels for most of the food things that the food products that we have, and we're getting from the United States or wherever you're at, they say soybean oil is usually in there, corn oil, cottonseed. You could try to run, but one thing you can't hide, right? You could say, see, splash and say use butter. But bro, read the packages for the most of the stuff we eat. We can't hide. Now, you know the sad thing? The FDA is the one that's approving what is going to be used in a lot of these, what can be regulated with the food additives, food preservatives. The FDA is supposed to be looking out for the American people. However, maybe they're looking out for themselves at the same time and saying if we're going to subsidize these products, then we're going to also use these products. And when the research comes back and says, listen, these products are not good for the human people to be consuming at levels that we're allowing, no one is stopping it. And who do we expect to stop it? They have done research and figured out that the continuous consumption of these oils contribute to inflammation, oxidation, heart disease, bad cholesterol, and obesity. The proof is in the pudding, people. The majority of North America would be considered obese. Why? Because we can't run from it. We have to try extra hard. And in order for you to try extra hard, you would have to make a certain salary. And for some strange reason, it feels like they're making it very hard for you to make a decent salary in this here United States. Right? The wealth gap is definitely widening it. I don't think that's what the kids would call cap or exaggeration. All right. Good for everybody. Does everybody win? Let's check it out. Government subsidies. The U.S. government provides substantial subsidies to the agriculture sector, particularly for crops used in the production of seed oils such as corn, soybeans, canola, sunflower. These subsidies are designed to stabilize farmers' incomes, encourage production, and ensure a steady supply of these crops. The FDA's endorsement or positive stance on seed oils can contribute to the widespread use and acceptance in the food industry. This endorsement might include affirming their safety for consumption and highlighting their benefits such as stability and the stability for high temperature cooking. I don't really have anything to say about this here topic, the federal crop insurance program. I just wanted you to know about it. That's it, right? I just wanted you to be aware that there is an insurance program that the federal government provides. Federal crop insurance program is a government program designed to provide financial protection to farmers against crops losses due to various risks managed primarily by the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA. The program aims to stabilize farm income, mitigate impact of adverse conditions, blah, 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 blah. All right? let's get to this though. This is what I really wanted. This is what the show is about, right? As I got 5 more minutes to end my show. I said all of that to say this right here. So pay attention. And, not for nothing, let's put the Cash App back up there because we're about to end the show soon. If you did enjoy the show, I appreciate you coming over. I mind joking around sometimes, but sometimes it's time to learn. You understand? And try to make it as fun as possible, but you just want to understand how you're being taken advantage of, right? Some people feel better by just understanding, like, oh, okay, now I see how they're taking advantage of me. But when you feel like you're being taken advantage of, and you don't even understand how they're doing it or why they're doing it or how it's different. All right, let's get to this part right here. Regulatory fees and costs for the GMOs. Approval process for GMOs. And I'm going to explain all of this. Regulatory agencies involved. In the U.S., GMOs are regulated by several agencies including, and I said this earlier, right? At the beginning of the show. FDA, Food and Drug Administration, USDA, EPA, Environmental Protection Agencies, pre-market consultation. Now, when you think of regulation, you don't think of they're going to make money. You just thinking like, yo, this department was created so that you would protect the people, right? Maybe it was created for that. But that's not where we at now. Now we're somewhere else. They're like, yo, that's maybe how it was, what it was created for. But bro, we're making money. Now it's a money-making thing. And this is what Eisenhower spoke against. He was talking about, yo, beware of the privatization of not just the military, right? He said the military, but what he was saying is once you start chopping up American agencies and departments and they're allowed to run rogue and autonomously and do their own thing, then the directors and the leaders for those departments can be compromised, right? Meaning they could be brought. Big agriculture could come in and buy them out. Big pharma could come in and buy them out. And I'm not asking you if this could happen. It already happened. We already seen it. Some money on some meat from farms. Okay, supermarkets meat go to many countries before it hits the shelves. I'm just sitting here reading the comments, and shout out to Alexander Crocker and shout out to Big T TV. And again, man, sometimes, I can't say sometimes. I read the back of labels a lot of times. And I'm just shocked to see a lot. Some of the meats that we get are coming from across seas, China. Some of the grains that we're getting is coming from Europe. And it's just really perplexing to me. But I know that you guys have thought about this too. There's way too many people on this continent alone and way too many restaurants for us to just continuously be able to have meat, right? It don't even matter what meat, right? How is there, like right now, I can go to Maryland and go to, what time is it, right? It's 8 o'clock. So right now, I could basically go to, if I was to teleport to Maryland, there's not a restaurant that I could go, I would be able to go in and not ask for chicken, and they're going to be like, oh, we all out of chicken. It just doesn't happen, right? And then I could teleport to the desert of Las Vegas, And if there's a diner out there, I'm gonna be like, yo, let me get a chicken something, and they're gonna have it. They're not gonna be like, yo, we're out of chicken. So how? Usually in everybody's head, they're thinking, how is there that much supply for everybody in this nation? Never mind the planet. You might not want to know the real answer, right? The real answer might scare you or piss you off or both. Nonetheless, let's get to these regulatory fees and costs. Pre-market consultation. Read this right here. For crops that are genetically modified, companies usually begin with a pre-market consultation with the FDA. This consultation helps determine whether a formal approval process is needed. All right. Well, guess what? Either way, you got to pay regulatory fees and costs for GMOs. So the FDA has actually become a money-making machine, is what I'm getting at, right? No specific user fees. Unlike the drug industry, there isn't a specific user fee, quote unquote, for GMO applications per se. Instead, the process involves what? This is crazy, huh? This is crazy. Before I read this, what I'm basically saying and what I'm getting at is these departments are not about keeping us safe anymore, in my opinion. These departments are about making money, and this is how they make their money. And why would they stop making millions of dollars a year when these big companies want to give them millions for their budget? These are paying salaries. This is paying for equipment. This is paying for research. And you expect them to do the right thing because your kids are getting fat? Huh? Because somebody's kid heart exploded? Because somebody had a child with birth defects? How do we know we had anything to do with that? We don't know. Yeah, but you at the same time, you not contributing to a healthy life down here on Earth in the United States as we expected you to, right? Because I guess from the Federal Drug Administration, we thought you actually looked out for us, right? But this is misleading. It's misleading because it don't seem, now that I understand that you taking all type of fees. Let's see some of these other fees. Submission fees. Companies may need to cover costs related to submitting data and documentation for regulatory review. So they're accepting a fee just for you to submit a document. Got you. These fees are generally part of the broader regulatory process and can vary depending on the complexity of the application. Okay, sounds like it's about to get complex and you about to charge me a whole lot of money. Data generation costs. Companies must generate substantial data to demonstrate the safety and the efficacy of the GMOs. This includes yield trials, field trials, safety assessments, and environmental impact studies, which can be costly. No duh! So we had two costs already, and this is just for the Food and Drug Administration. Never mind. This is just for the food part of the Food and Drug Administration. We're not even talking about the drug. That's a whole nother fee for their applications. We're not even on them right now. Right? We just on food. But if you remember in the beginning, food does include genetics, right? It's not all preservatives and colors and all that. No. Additives and no. There's different categories within the food part of the Food and Drug Administration. Consultation and compliance costs. Companies may also incur costs for consulting with regulatory experts, ensuring compliance with regulation, and preparing documentation. You got to pay just to ask someone, am I in compliance? Right? Just so what unbeknownst to us, the FDA has become a true cash cow right under our noses, and we were never supposed to find this out. How much money is being generated. And the problem is, we probably wouldn't care, but where's the representation for the people of America? Because we cannot compete with these billion-dollar companies, and we really expect these people to have our best interests. It's just not going to happen. Racketeering, collateral sales. Yes, yes, racketeering. Yes, yes, yes. Regulatory burden. The process can be lengthy and complex, involving significant investment in research, development, and regulatory submissions. While there may not be a specific user fee, the overall cost for bringing a GMO to market includes various regulatory expenses. So now we can see that the FDA not only makes money off of the drug applications, but they also make money off of the agriculture, off of the food companies as well. Regulatory and safety standards, pesticide regulations. All right, let's get here. Let's get to this. I don't think we're done. I don't think we're done taking money from people. Pesticide regulation. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and again, misleading at best. It's called the Environmental Protection Agency, which any person with like competent, with the slightest amount of competence, would really perceive that as, okay, you here to protect me, right? So that the environment stays safe. You're going to regulate it? No. It doesn't. We cannot compete with these $1 million companies that are giving money annually and regulatory and continuously to these agencies. But let's finish reading this. The Environmental Protection Agency regulates the use of pesticides in the United States. This includes setting safety standards. That's a joke. Because if you throw 500, if you take somebody out to a Knicks game and buy them a G-Wagon, I'm pretty sure you could get some of these safety standards lowered. Anyway, evaluating the risk of pesticides and improving products for the use. Farmers must comply with these regulations when choosing to apply pesticides. Some government programs provide cost-sharing opportunities for pest management practices, which might include the purchase of certain pesticides. So what are we talking about now? You know what we're talking about now? We're talking about them suggesting which pesticide you should buy. Why? Because maybe they have stock in it. Maybe it helps them somehow, right? Some type of subsidy that they're giving to a pesticide company. And it goes back to the words that you guys are using in the chat, which is racketeering and laundering. This is what it is. This is what it is, man. These programs aim to support farmers in adopting effective pest control methods. Like Roundup. Yeah. Very effective, right? Until it comes times for accountability, when we see a certain amount of birth defects, and then no one wants to take accountability, and then you try to sweep it under the rug, and then you want to censor people on YouTube, and then you want to get rid of their channels because they're talking about it. Yeah. We're very well familiar. Thank you. Thank you. That's my show. I only ran 10 minutes over. You know what's funny before I shut off the show? What's funny is a lot of the information that just overlaps, right? I had no idea that when I started like researching this that I was going to run into programs that was part of the New Deal. And yet just yesterday I spoke on programs that was part of the New Deal that look at risk right now, right? One being Social Security. No one thinks that Social Security is even going to be around. And a lot of the older people, especially in the Democratic Party, if you want their vote, all you have to do is kind of like threaten Social Security. Like if the other guy's threatening Social Security, just because yeah, this guy wants to get rid of Social Security, and the truth is, at the end of the day, I want to stay away from conspiracy theory. A lot of people died in that pandemic, though. A lot of old people died in that pandemic. I will stay away from conspiracy theory, but a lot of old people died in that pandemic. And Dr. Fauci did give $10 million to Wuhan for the research of whatever they were studying that was barred from Fort Detrick's years ago, and Obama allowed him to continue the research in the Wuhan. But hey, I said I'm staying away from conspiracy theories. But what I do know is when it comes to older Democrats, especially blacks, they're more concerned about not eating cat food as they should be, right? So if it seems like you're threatening, or if there's any propaganda that Donald Trump is about to take away their Social Security, you know the sad part? Say Donald Trump wins, right? And then he's in there. It'll look like he got rid of these programs when in fact it was a direct effect of Joe Biden giving money to Ukraine and Israel all willy-nilly for no reason at all, right? That's not a good reason for us to have given billions. None of these two are good reasons, right? Not you. Israel needs more power for what? Like they're the size of New Jersey. What do you want to give them more power for? I don't understand. No one's even rushing to move to Israel, bro. No one. Otherwise, it would be like what's this other place in Saudi Arabia? Not Saudi Arabia. Is it in Saudi Arabia where everyone's always going? Like no one's rushing to Tel Aviv to work there, bro. I don't see no articles about Tel Aviv being the next up and coming city. I don't see no bids for the Olympics. I don't see nothing, man. All right, my wife's up here getting her clothes ready for tomorrow, and I don't want her all on the mic. Her and her friends. So now I gotta end my show. Yeah, they acting like everyone's rushing over to Tel Aviv. I don't know why they need that much money. And to be honest with you, Ukraine just looked like that was an extortion deal, straight up. I'm gonna be honest with you. That felt like an extortion deal. Like, you know what it is. All right. That being said, I appreciate everyone again, that donated. You know what we're trying to do with the videos. If you like the video, if you was able to, and you donated to the Cash App, I do appreciate you. Even if you didn't, if you over here and you made comments, I appreciate you. If you over here and you hit the like button, I appreciate you. If you over here and you copied the link and you sent it to whoever, I appreciate you. You understand? If you was just over here in the cut and you stayed the whole time, I appreciate you. Thank you. You understand? We get back to it tomorrow. Vacation is over. Holiday is over. Yeah. Splash in the General, thank you so much. Trisha, thank you so much. Frankie Blanco, appreciate you. Big TTV was in the house. Alexander Crocker was here tonight. I appreciate everybody. Did I say Big Trisha? I think I did. And that being said, yo, we got another one down. I already got the idea for my next video, so I'm gonna just tell you in advance. We will be talking about Freemasonry. We will be talking about Freemasonry in my next video. All right. So hopefully, this video helps out someone understand a little bit better on the correlation and the relationships between the foods we eat, how they're being subsidized, you guys can make the connection. You guys can make the connection. Thank you, Big TTV. He says another great show. All right. That being said, my wife's getting louder and louder for whatever reason. That being said, salute to you guys. Have a great week. All right. Peace out.